Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 and 9. For my top 10, top 10, 9 and 9. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Grant Cardone, and my take on his top 50 rules for success. Enjoy.
People got to keep working on themselves.
Yeah. Trying new things.
You got to give something up. Like, I'm always giving stuff up. My life changed when I gave stuff up. When I was 25 and I gave drugs up, I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then you give up your friends.
Right.
Because when you start changing, they're gonna go.
People don't like it.
They're gonna go, or you're gonna come back.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not, I truly believe that if you're not changing your friends, you're not changing. Your friends should be, they should be like.
Every few years, a cycle.
Yeah.
Or they should be changing, growing with you.
They're not gonna grow with you.
Really? Well, I hope I'm
They'll grow later.
I hope I'm friends with you in 10 years.
Yeah, but well, we will be.
Yeah.
We will be, you know, but like I know, I dated this girl. Her friends were her childhood friends. She never changed.
Yeah, it's tough.
None of them changed. The whole group never changed. Like, for me to change, I can't think if me and you are best friends that me and you are we're gonna change at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
We have different reasons to change throughout life, right?
Right.
And Elena and I, we'll have different times when we want to change. My kids are gonna change and they're gonna leave. 100% they're gonna leave.
Right.
They're like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And they're gonna go from flying private back to flying commercial.
Until they coach.
Until they figure out how to fly private,
Right.
if they even want to do that.
Yeah.
But I've always said, I've changed so many times. I've moved. I've been 5 or 6 different cities. That's been great for me. Every move has been better for me.
Uh-huh.
I've changed friends. I've had lifelong friends that I know them, but
You're not hanging out every day.
no, I moved on.
When I was a kid, Glenn, I was like, I knew I was going to do something great and had zero reason to believe that.
Right.
Like, it was a total fantasy. Or maybe not. I think everybody has that. I would imagine that every kid has this idea that they're meant for greatness. I know I did. I always thought I was going to be something great. I remember my twin brother. He'd be in the mirror, man. He's like 8 years old. We're 8 years old. He's singing in the mirror like he's a rock star.
Right.
I had to listen to that all the time. and then I started thinking, man, if he's going to be a rock star, he's going to go on and be a big rock star. And I can't, because that wasn't my deal.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what am I going to be? And then I thought, I'm going to be a baseball player. I actually believed I was going to be a baseball player.
Right.
Dude, I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't strong enough. I didn't have the arm. I mean, I had no talent. I didn't have the work ethic. I didn't have somebody pushing me. So I've just always underestimated what I could do. I think everybody does. That's why this 10X thing, that's why I keep telling people, man, you're thinking too small. When I talk to people about real estate, don't do 2 units. Got to start somewhere. No, you don't have to start with 2 units. You could actually start with 32.
Right.
And by the way, it's going to be a lot easier to make money on 32 than it is 2.
Sure.
If you can just believe that you can. And right now is a time where people are going to have to start believing they can do something else, because we're going to move into a period of time now where there's going to be massive transition, enforced transition on everyone.
What's your attitude to fear and risk?
You got to take risks. The best way to stay out of harm's way is to be the most dangerous person in the room.
Right. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you ever, though, sometimes think, man, I'm taking too big a risk here?
Every deal I do.
Yeah.
Every deal I do.
Does it make you feel alive?
No, I know I'm alive. I just like when you take on an arena and you're like, I'm going to book, there's 5,000 people here. Okay. my gig had 7 times that many people, 35,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, I sold out an arena as big as Jay-Z and Beyonce would sell out. The difference is I had them there for 3 days. They have them there for 2 hours. On Super Bowl weekend, our biggest football, you know. I know you guys laugh at our football, but we love it, right? So the biggest sports weekend in the United States of America is Super Bowl weekend. I held my event on that weekend. Freaking insane. I know a year ago, the last time I was on this interview, I think I just started working out every day. And my body was hurting all the time. I was in pain constantly.
You didn't want to do it. You were struggling.
Dude, my ankles hurt, my knees hurt, my back hurt, like I had constant pain in my body.
Why'd you keep doing it?
Doing what?
Working out.
No, that I wasn't working out.
Before you started working out,
my body was
you were in
weak.
pain.
I wasn't
Gotcha.
using my body. I didn't use it, and it started to abandon me. Like I wasn't paying attention to it, you know. And it's like, okay, dude, you don't want to pay attention to me.
I'm going to make you pay
Maybe
attention.
I don't pay attention to you, you know, or maybe I'll make you pay attention to me.
Yeah.
And then I went to a PT 3 days a week. That really didn't do anything. And I said, you know what? I need to take responsibility for this. If I want to fix something, that's the code of my life. Do you want to fix something? Take responsibility.
Yeah.
You take responsibility. Don't give it over to the physical therapist, the masseuse. I was trying the masseuse. The masseuse never helped me. I needed to put muscle on my bones. So I hired a guy named Anthony. He came. I said, you come to my place every day. Same time every day. Here's the money. Here, take the money. Here's the schedule. I'm never going to miss a day.
Wow.
And
He travels with you too, or no?
No.
you're
This
out.
was in the first year.
Got it.
And, you know, it's been 14 months. I have almost zero pain in my body.
Hey, man.
Evan, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
You got a book coming out, don't you?
You just came out.
Where can people get it?
Get it on Amazon. Easiest spot. Built to serve. Right there.
Let's go, man. If you guys don't know Evan, follow Evan Carmichael. He's got a new book out, Build to Serve. Go grab it today at Amazon. Just a good dude right here.
I had a guy the other day ask me for some advice. Okay, you know these people that ask for advice. I know you know them. Yeah. You give it to them and then they don't do it.
Yeah.
He knew it was true. It hit him. He's like, I know that's right. And then he went and did something different. And this is a big mistake people make, man. The best things that have happened to me did not require any more thought. The best decisions I've made in my life were instant. So like my wife and I, like when I decide to buy something, I go buy it. I don't check with her because that adds thought. It adds time. And this is another bad piece of advice I was given. Like take time, think about it. Don't move too fast. Take baby steps. You don't know, nobody on this planet ever took baby steps. They went fast. And the faster you can go, you know, my plane is safest when it's up in the air. When it's landing, slowing down, it's in trouble. When it's taking off, it's at risk.
That's interesting. At flight at full speed, it's almost the safest.
Dude, that thing wants to fly, you know, and people are being conditioned to slow down, think about it, take your time, take a drug. I was put on lithium when I was 29 years old because the psychologist thought I needed to slow down. She was scared of speed. I wasn't.
And at that time, were you doing well financially?
Yeah,
or?
I was doing great, but everybody was saying, hey, you're doing too much of this and you're doing too much of that and you're going to burn and you're going to do this. And people were worried about me around me that were going slow. I was vibrating faster than they were. But a hummingbird vibrates. Bumblebees vibrate, right? They do things that are impossible. So you don't want to slow down and you want to move with speed and certainty. That means people need to know what they're doing. If I know what I'm doing, that's why confident people, Tiger won today.
Tiger won today.
He's been fighting, man, been efforting. 10 years he hadn't had a win. He won today. That guy moves with speed and certainty. You know, winners move with speed and certainty because they practice, they train, they educate.
I'm a student of observation. I observe things. I remember being selling cars, saying, this is stupid. First, I learned how to do it. Control the customer, the 12 steps.
Right.
And then I'm like, if I do 12 steps with everybody, I can't get to 30 units a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, I started skipping steps.
Right.
I mean, because I wanted those 10 car weeks. And the only way to do that was walk out there and just start offering people what they had, what they were going to ask me for anyway.
Right.
Can I get you a price, a payment, a down payment, a monthly payment? Can I get you everything you need?
Right.
I knew that it was just a matter of about 30 seconds. They were going to ask for it all.
No doubt.
So I just basically intercepted the customer, sped up the processes. And then I'm like, man, I started hitting 30, 36 units, 31 units in 14 days. I'm like, this is the way to do it. And then when I lost my job, because the dealer wasn't big enough, didn't think big enough himself, didn't 10X. When I left him, I didn't have any place to go in his company or his organization. I couldn't be a star there. I went out and started teaching that.
What would you say is the best advice that you could give other people from what you learned about making their first $1 million? So say somebody's making 6 figures, scaling up, and that's
just
the goal.
do the math. You know, what's first of all, do you want to make $1 million or do you want to keep $1 million? They're like 60% difference between those two questions.
Right. So specificity in the goal.
Do you want to make? Everybody watching is going to make $1 million. I mean, if you live 25 years, you're going to make $1 million. 25 times $40,000, bang, you made $1 million. If that's your goal. So this is what I talked about in the 10X rule. The goals people are setting are incorrect. And that's why people give up on their goals. Because I know so many guys that hit $1 million. Like I've had so many people come to me and say, I hit $1 million and I lost the juice.
Yeah, it got comfortable almost, yeah.
A lot of guys in network marketing tell me this. Like I was in network marketing, I became $1 million producer, just lost it because the goal was wrong. The goal was wrong. First of all, it wasn't your goal. Like, anybody that's got $1 million target, it's not your goal. You adopted this goal, this idea from somebody else. Because any number that ends in 0 is a lazy number. The chances of number ending in 0 is almost mathematically
What a great point. What a great point.
So it's a lazy concept. You just adopted somebody else's idea. I want to be a millionaire. Have you even done the math? Do the math on $1 million. It's no money. This is what people they God, hate Grant because your target was $1 million. You're struggling making 200. You think $1 million's impossible. You don't want me to tell you the truth. The truth is, it is no money. As soon as you get it, I read the book, The Millionaire Next Door. Almost everybody read that book back in the 90s. It was the best book for me because it taught me I don't want to be a millionaire. It lifted the lid. I'm like, I don't want to be the guy buying a Ford truck. I don't want a Ford truck, man. Right? I got to buy a Ford truck, a used Ford truck, F-150. So one day I could be a millionaire.
Yeah.
And I can't go get coffee. I need to bring a brown bag to my office every day, not drink coffee at the shop in order to be a millionaire. Well, the reason I knew that was not good for me was because my dad died at 52 with a little bit of money. And I'm like, I don't want to die with money when I'm old. I want to have enough money. And that undid everything for me. I want financial freedom. I don't want to hit a quota. You know, and I think everybody's struggling for the quota. They're struggling for the bills. They set their financial plan based on what their spending is or what their apartment costs or what the mortgage is, or what their kids need, rather than I want freedom. I don't want financial literacy. I want financial freedom. You know, so I hear people say, oh, we need to teach financial literacy. No, you need to teach financial freedom, the possibility of it. What would I need? How much? You know, this whole cash flow thing that I talk about all the time. Cash flow is the holy grail of finance. That's why his business works. That's why he's able to enjoy the lifestyle he has. He has financial freedom, not a money number.
2 weeks ago, I went plant only.
Plant-based.
Plant-based.
How's that feel?
I dropped the meat, dude.
I want to do that. I did that for a week last week.
Yeah.
And I felt amazing. I had a lot of more gas just from all the plants, I think, but just cleaning it out.
That's really too much information for me.
But I've had way more energy.
Yeah.
And less inflammation and less pain. And
yeah, I hadn't noticed. I have a little bit of inflammation in my hands, but it hadn't changed. But the plant-based thing, I watched the Game Changer show.
Yeah.
And when he said, dude, you're eating the middleman. Like when I heard that was enough for me right there.
Eating the middleman?
You're eating the middleman. Meaning the cow. The cow eats the grass.
Right. You can go right to the source.
The source is the grass.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, what the f am I doing eating the middleman? I ain't a middleman guy. I want to go directly to the source.
Where all the energy's at.
Yeah, I mean, like That was the line in the show that did me. Wow. And I had been thinking about it too. I've eaten meat for 60 years. Wow. I grew up on bacon, 4 pieces of bacon every day.
So good.
Oh yeah, totally. The eggs. I have not eaten any meat in 12 days. And my energy is freaking this all day long.
Oh, wow.
3:30 in the afternoon for the last 25 years, I crash at 3:30. Hard crash. I mean, like, I'll see you guys. Call me later, okay? What you doing at 3:30? I got a meeting.
Yeah.
And that meeting was on that nap, dude. And when I hit it, I'm talking coma. Deep sleep. Better than sleep at night. Sometimes it would be 30 minutes, sometimes it'd be an hour and a half. Like comatose. 12 days, I can't take a nap. I try to go take a nap, I cannot fall asleep. That's how good my energy is.
Do you think you're gonna stick with this? Do you think you'll have meat sometimes? Do you think?
I mean, I'm not a fanatic guy. So
you might have a little meat here and there or something.
I'm just gonna eat what makes me feel best.
Yeah.
So I don't care if it was meat, if it was pork, if it was bacon. But right now, as long as I can find the greens, and I haven't missed the meat.
Wow.
My digestion's better. You know, my energy's freaking great.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
Our goal at the 10X Growth Conference and all the events I do, even the free events I do around, we're going to do 50 free events this year.
That's crazy, man.
And the reason I'm doing that is because I know guys that I don't like can't do it.
Yeah.
Like, you go try to do a free event, 50.
Right.
You'll
I
bleed
can't
out.
do it.
People are going to bleed out, dude. I'll bleed the guy out. That's the proper way to use money, by the way.
Nice. Just run them.
This is straight out of if you're not first, you're last. You know, do what your competition cannot do.
The fastest way to grow a business is to collaborate with other people. Is to find these ferries that are going back and forth. B-roll, okay. The ferries, dude, I mean, I could build a boat or I could just go get on one of those.
Exactly.
Right? And what we're doing today is we are drafting or just collaborating with.
Yeah.
Cardone Capital, I don't go build apartments.
No.
I buy apartments that are already built. That way I can scale faster. If I was trying to do the building thing, now construction, teams, right? Now, along the way, I'm adjusting as I go.
Of course.
But I need to get in the water and start swimming in some direction. I think too many people are trying to figure out where they're going.
Yeah.
And by the time you figure it out, somebody's already there.
What would be a few non-negotiables that everyone should take with their money? Like if you got 100,000, you want to get to $1 million. If you got $1 million, you want to get 10.
Pay attention to it.
Okay. Pay
Every
attention
day.
to your
You should
money.
look at your money every day.
Look at it every day. Look at the bank account.
Look at the bank account. What are your cash accounts and what are your investments?
Look at it every day.
Every single day. It takes
What does that
5
do?
seconds.
What does that do for you?
Where am I at? Inventory. Personal inventory. So where am I at? It's measurable. You can see it.
Yeah.
If it's 0, look at it until it makes you sick. Okay, and then you see some money sitting in a bank. Okay, you got 100 grand sitting in a bank account or 50 grand. Okay, you need look what is it earning? People are unconscious. They don't know where their money is. This is the scam on this planet. You get money, you work your ass off, and then you give it to an institution, and you forget that it's there. Wells Fargo's paying you nothing. Bank of America's paying you nothing.
Chase, yeah.
You send it to Chase, they're not paying you anything. You send it to the mutual fund. You don't even know what it's invested in. It's invested in stuff you don't even believe in.
Right.
It's invested in war stocks, tobacco stocks, drug companies. Like that's not things you even believe in. Like people have their money like that's not even conducive with the things they believe in their life.
Yeah.
So if you don't drink alcohol, why would you invest your money in alcohol stocks?
It's true.
So pay attention to where the money is. What is it paying you? Where is it? Look at it every day. It takes literally 2 minutes or less. I was in Tokyo. Tokyo's had 20-year. I appreciate this conversation, by the way, because not enough people talk about economics. But Japan's had a 20-year contraction. The population's getting older. The young people are moving out. But the real estate in Japan, in Tokyo particularly, you could have been invested in the Tokyo real estate for the last 20 years. The economy's going like this, and that property's still doing this because it produces income. And it won't go away. It's still going to be there. Tokyo is going to be Tokyo 20 years from now.
Yeah.
And you just can't get this hub right here. This spot's going to be here. And so people need to start positioning themselves for a bigger, much bigger thing. And it's what keeps people from doing more business with you because the think is so small.
Just this depression thing. This is a topic that interests me so much.
Have you ever dealt with it at all, Grant?
Totally.
Okay.
Almost my whole life.
Still? A little bit?
No, well, what happens is socially, we say it's depression. But what if it wasn't depression and it was just truth? That I'm having to sleep with my own truth, that I can do more, right? So why wouldn't I be a bit depressed if I have this potential and I'm operating here? Every individual knows what they're capable of, right? So if I know I have this much potential and I'm living here, wouldn't I be like a little bit disappointed with myself? Yes. Now, what happened because back in the 50s, there was no depression. Nobody was talking about depression. People were talking about, how do I get to the next level, right? Today, in our psychiatric community, where the average American has 8 prescriptions sitting in their medicine cabinet. Like, I'm on one drug, I gotta take a second drug to handle the third drug because of the blood pressure drug, because of this drug. And dude, I'm stacking out like, why? Because I was depressed? Why am I depressed? Because I don't look like, I don't have his arms? I have the potential to have his arms. Maybe not. Okay.
Pretty close,
but it would require me to go to work, right? Or I need to look a different way, or I'm aging, or whatever the deal is, right? Like, so for me, I have always struggled with depression. But it was more because people were telling me I was depressed when the truth is I was just disappointed, man.
Me too.
I was disappointed with me.
Me too.
You know, my mom would always tell me, my mom was always the first person I would call anytime I scored. And she was my best friend. And she passed when about 9 years ago when Sabrina was born. 5 days later, Sabrina was born. And every score I had, I was 51 years old, man. Between 25 and 51, every score I had, my mom was the first person I called. Mom, I did this. Every time she had the same response. Son, that's great, but I love you just the way you are. Over and over she told me that. And then one day I'm like, but I don't. Now, I can't really say that. A whole bunch of people are going to say, why don't you love you just the way you are? Something wrong with you, because there's that whole culture out there. This I don't know what the term is, but it's this holistic idea that you should love yourself the way you are. I would tell everybody, dude, if you know that you can do more, do not love who you are. Achieve who you can be, because you can be more. He's done it. I've done it. And I did it by replacing the depression concept, not doing the drugs, by the way. I was put on them like 5 or 6 times. And threw them away and just said, you know what? I'm going to go for my goals. I'm going to go for my potential. If I'm going to screw this up, I'm going to screw it up Grant's way, not their way.
I saw a video posted the other day about millionaires are broke or something on Instagram. Well, I can't remember exactly what it was. Like,
No,
never take advice from a
Never
millionaire.
take advice from a millionaire. And the reason why is because, you know, millionaires they're not certain about their money yet. They're scared, actually. I mean, if you ask them, just go ask them, hey, what got you $1 million? I was out there hustling, working deals, da-da-da. Then when you got $1 million, what happened? You started worrying about losing it. What do I do with this money? And you start saving it and protecting it. You were taking risks when you had nothing. Mm-hmm. You took a risk when you had nothing. You took risks when you had 100. Took risks when you had 300. Then you quit taking risks at $1 million. So that's why I say never take advice from a millionaire, because they go into conservation mode. Yeah. The billionaire never goes into conservation mode. Like all the way up, he's just like expansion. Look at Elon. Yeah. Sells PayPal, walks away with $3 billion.
Puts it all in a...
Bang, 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 and rents.
Right.
Rents where he lives. Borrowed money to rent.
Yeah.
Shoved it all in.
It's crazy.
Millionaire would never do that.
Why?
Takes all his chips off the table. And then looks at his chips and he's scared he's going to lose them again. The idea here is, look, commit. Okay, and this is the problem with the schooling system. Everything's got to be figured out first. I got to read the instructions first. Like, nobody really does read the instructions.
I never read the instructions. I wrote an article about it. I don't read any instructions.
You know, and so, I mean, I can't read them because they're so small. And even when I could read them, I'm like, I don't want to read the instructions. Can't they make this simpler?
Yeah.
So, and that is the premise there.
Yeah.
Can't it just be simpler?
Yeah.
And the way to make it simple is, and we see this happening today. I mean, this is happening on a global scale where picking a car up now is simple. Pick me up.
It's crazy.
I don't have to put the address in. It should locate where I am. Car picks me up. I put in the destination, tells guy where to go.
You don't even need to pay for it either. It's already
I don't have
set up.
Like simple. You guys got everything should be simplified. And the way to simplify things, I remember Mercedes-Benz years ago, I heard about this when they had first figured out how to put a drop back, a hard top convertible into the trunk. They couldn't figure it out. It used to be these old, they'd hang them up in the garage and take them off, and it was like very laborious. And somebody at Mercedes-Benz said, don't tell me what it's going to cost. Tell me when it's done. Just get it done, no matter what. This is how the Elon Musk are thinking today. This is why Apple keeps creating a crazy product. Why this will go away. Somebody's going to come along one day and say, get rid of the phone, and I still want to communicate.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be on a headset, more like this. We'll probably go in here, right, where I pop.
Well, I mean, the watches.
Yeah, they're moving there, right?
It's crazy.
So to where I don't even need a watch. I won't need anything. It's like, okay, I want to call ba. We're moving in that direction of less and faster and simpler. So the way the human being does that, he's in Brisbane this morning, the Gold Coast. I got to get down there. He's committed. He doesn't figure, he just gets a flight. No research.
No, not
You weren't
at all.
researching it last night?
No, not at all.
If you'd known about this last night, you'd have been doing work about it last night, planning, negotiating with the airlines. Yeah. When you get compressed on time, and you got a commitment, you're like, I got to be there at 2:30. Everything works out.
Yeah, as I was walking out, my assistant, she goes, "Oh, where are you going to stay?" And I was like, "Book me a place where close to to the park or where you're staying." I won't put that out. But
we're on this trip. We went to Tokyo. Because things don't work out as planned anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying go through life unplanned. I have 500 employees. So there's got to be some planning. There's got to be.
Is that stretched over your?
It doesn't need to be me doing the planning though.
Yeah.
Like I need somebody else to do that. I don't have to do that.
No.
I just need to know where I want to go. So we were coming to Sydney. I knew I had this commitment with Success Resources to come here and do these events. Good. Tell me when the events are. Bang, bang, bang. Okay, I got to get there. Right. So a week ago, I'm like, okay, hey Lanny, I called my pilot. I want to route to Sydney, but let's stop in Hawaii. Let's go to Kauai. Kids have never been there. We'll stay there for 3 days, acclimate for a second, and shoot down to Sydney. I had enough data to know that I would need to do a route like that. Storm comes in. For some reason, I can't get the place I want in Kauai. Storm comes across the South Pacific, and Lanny said, hey, we might want to be careful with this storm coming down there. I said, okay, well, let's reroute to Fiji. Double storm pops up. Double-headed cyclone. Okay, in our path. He's like, Grant, we can't go that way. We'd have to go all the way around this storm. I said, no, we don't. Go to Tokyo. Now, the point of that story is, look, just keep moving forward. Keep moving in a direction that you want to go to. We go to Tokyo. I made all these friends in Tokyo.
Yeah.
I would have never done that. But I was committed to going to Sydney. And so again, commit, move in the direction that gets you closer to where you're going to go.
There's this whole thing about success that people label on top of. Are they happy, but they still have problems? Their problem, yeah, dude, I still have problems. It's the same problems everybody has. So does Jay-Z and Beyonce, right? Everybody's got problems. Like, question is, are you going to keep looking for bigger problems to solve rather than little small problems that you have?
Is there any daily disciplines that you have in your life, daily routines, that you would attribute to your success?
I try to beat the sun up. I write my goals down every day, and I try to hit the gym. So I don't do it perfect every day.
Sure.
Some things throw me off, and unfortunately, I created a lifestyle where some things are taken care of for me that most people don't have that option. Somebody drives the kids to school. I don't have to do that. That would change everything. if I had to do that. Who knows? Maybe I need to. Maybe I need to start driving the kids to school. It seems like a complete waste of time to me. But I live two minutes from my office. So when I bounce out of here, I got to go do a live stream on real estate. But yeah, that's the first three things. If I can get that done in the morning, man, I know I'm going to have a good day.
Yeah, pretty simple. Beat the sun up. Make sure you write down your goals.
Yeah.
Make sure you take care of yourself, get the blood flowing, get the heart pumping.
Yeah, and I write my goals down fresh, a new unit, like in a new unit at a time. Like I write them down today, like I had never written them down before.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so simple on the outside, but so many people won't do those three.
I dare everybody listening here to try to do it for 30 days in a row. See if you can even make 7.
You mentioned that whilst writing 10X Rule, something changed for you.
Yeah.
What was that? Was that sort of this
look, the 10X Rule
to going all in, or?
No, the 10X Rule, it was just the awareness of I had been dependent upon one vertical.
Right.
And I'm sitting there looking, okay, I worked my ass off. I was good at my craft. I saved my money. What did I do wrong here, dude? 51 years old. I should be like so rich right now. I should be like not even work, huh?
Where's my jet rich?
I wasn't even thinking about a jet then.
Right.
I wasn't even thinking about a jet. I should just be like, I was still having to do business with people I didn't like. I'm like, why am I still kissing asses? And I don't mind kissing asses. Like, I don't mind, I'll do whatever it takes, but I'm like, why am I still flying 3 million miles every 3 years? Like I was banging miles out. I wasn't 150,000 miles a year.
Wow.
You know, away from my family. Like my life was miserable. I'm like, what? It's fine that you do that for 20 years. It's not fine if you do it forever. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, I wasn't scaling. Now, I didn't know that until the economy basically served up the lesson.
Right.
All right, we're going to take your 3 businesses, and we're going to show you that you really only have like maybe a half of one business. Took the first business and just cut it in half. Took the second business, took it down to like 90%, like just killed this partner I had. And the third business was real estate, and it was frozen. It was literally like they put it in a freezer and said, you're not going to lose any of this, but it's worth nothing to you today.
Yeah.
And I was on life support. And I'm like, I'll never do this again. I will never be dependent upon one vertical, one partner, or a handful of real estate. Never do business with somebody you don't feel good about. Deal's never going to be good.
It's not worth it.
Can't get a good deal from a bad guy. It's impossible. If I don't feel good, there's no way I will not give a person a penny.
Wow.
I don't care how good the deal is. Deal will never be good if the guy's bad.
Doesn't matter how bad you want it, what they have.
Do not do it.
Yeah.
So I have a list of like 6 things.
Yeah.
And if one of those boxes checks off, I know I shouldn't do this deal.
Wow.
More than one, for sure I won't do it. If I sit with $100 in my pocket, folks, there is no economy. If you want to be economic, you let money flow. It has to move. You got people in your company, managers and executives that are saving money. They save their money. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? We're saving money. How can you grow a department if you go home and all you do is save shit? You know, you open up somebody's freezer and they got ice cream that's 3 months old. It's got this much left. You got Diet Coke that's 4 days old. It's got that much left in it, okay? You got Ziploc containers. You have whole cabinets of Ziploc containers and little plastic things where in case you had some leftover corn or peas or potatoes, you're like, don't throw it away. Save that. Save that much pork chop. Maybe I'll hit it tomorrow.
See, like this, somebody put this back in here. That's probably Elena doing that. There's no reason to put this back here. It reminds me of my mama. Reminds me of when I grew up. Save everything. It's a terrible product anyway. Why you want to save it? Look at this. She put 2 apples in here. Don't put them back in the refrigerator, man. Eat them or toss them. You're not going to go broke or get rich saving leftovers. What are you guys doing, man? You got shit in your closet that you ain't ever gonna wear. It don't fit you. It ain't fit you in years, right? How many of you got stuff at your house you could get rid of? You're trying to save stuff. Dude, how can How can you have new stuff come in when you're holding on to stuff that you don't even use? Right? So you have to use this. It only becomes valuable when it's used. Now the question is, what are you going to use it on? And the other question is, why don't you use it? Why are you so compelled to hold on to it? What do y'all think that is? You don't know how to get more. Number one reason, your mother did not know how to get a new shirt. That's why she put so much time and energy in cleaning the shirt you got a stain on. Okay? You broke a toy, your parents got upset with you. Can't believe you did that. What, did what, man? Dude, toys are to be broken. That's what a good toy is for, right? Right? I lost a quarter when I was 8 years old, and I would have thought my house was going to get torn apart because my dad became so upset about the quarter. You're playing with money. Never play with money. What are you doing playing with money? And that lesson pounded on me so hard, it kept me from making real money for 20 years. It does not matter who you know. It matters who knows you. So I'm going to go up. I'm trying to get to Fiji, right? Okay. Look, I mean, I could know some people that own places in Fiji, but what if it's already booked? They can't kick them out. But what if people in Fiji knew I was coming? They're like, hey, Mr. Cardone, I want them calling me. I don't want to call them. And so who knows you? We're back to the question of who's got my money? Who's got your money is who knows you. People do business with people they know. It's how business has been done for 2,000 years on this planet. People don't do business with people they trust. They do, but they first do business with people they know. I gotta know you before I trust you. And I would rather do business with somebody I know and don't trust. I do business with people every day I don't trust. Every day. I have to.
Don't you think there's an element of, so for example,
but I know they can get that deal. I know they can get the deal done with me.
Right.
Like the real estate broker, I know I'm not getting quite the truth from him on this or that, but you know what? He's got the deal. I just did 2 deals. I did $120 million worth of real estate deals with the same guy. I don't really like him.
Right.
But I'm doing business with him. And this is not a new thing for anybody. Anybody that's not doing business with people they don't want to do business with is lying. There's somebody. You got people that work for you don't like. I think people need to define what commitment is. For me, when I commit to something, the next 2 things that will happen is it will be on a schedule, requires time, and I will invest some money. All commitments, for me, require time and money. If I don't write a check, I'm not committed. If I don't take time out of my calendar, I'm not committed. So if I want to work out, okay, my body starting to cause me some problems, right? So I'm like, I'm committed to taking care of my body. What did I do? Wrote somebody a check, show up at my freaking place every day at 7 o'clock, and I'm going to work out. Okay, that was 4 months ago. I've missed 5 days in 120 days. That's commitment, time and money.
If you're having problems right now, okay, like if you're having recurring problems, just make a list. Make a list of.
Make sure you guys do what Grant says. Remember, he's a T-Rex.
Yeah. Make a list. Make a list of your recurring problems that you're sick of. The same stuff over and over again. Man, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't get to take whatever the recurring problems are. I can't get good people. I got one person in my office that I depend on, and I'm sick of depending on him, even though he's a producer. Those recurring problems that you have over and over again. You lose deals. You don't like your clients. You actually have clients that you'd like to get rid of. You know how you get rid of bad clients? Get more of them. Okay. So what I do is if I have problems, let's say I'm making $1 million a year. I'm making 1 million, and I'm like, okay, next year, this is what business owners do. They're like, this year I'm going to go from 1 million to 1.2 million. I'm going to get a little growth, and then COVID cracks you. And then you're like, okay, I'll settle for 500 grand now.
The problem was you were looking for incremental growth, okay? You know the old thing about 3 steps forward, 2 steps backward, you only get 1 step out of that. By the time a week or 2 goes, you're like, I'm sick of this. I'm tired, I'm bored, I'm beat up, and your life doesn't change. The trick is that if you would plan out how to get to 10 million, even though you're not, let me just go ahead and asterisk that right now. Don't have a plan to go from 1 to 1.2. Build a plan to go from 1 to 10 million because it's going to give you a new set of problems. Okay? And a takeaway for you today, get new problems. Because if you keep working on the set of problems that you have, you will never solve them. Okay, watch. I got a handful of problems. I'm making $1 million a year or 200 grand or whatever your number is. Pick your number. And I'm like, I'm going to get me incremental growth. How do I do that with the people I have, the time I have, the office I have? Well, what you do is you're like, I'm going to go from 1 million to 10 million. Oh, I need a new office, new problem. Oh, I need 10 people, not 2 people. Oh, I need to spend 100 grand a month on advertising, not 5,000. See, all of a sudden I got new problems. I'm no longer thinking about Pete, what do they call the guy that you're the diva, Jessica. I got to put up with Jessica's bullshit because she's a diva, comes in when she wants, leaves when she wants. She runs the business even though I own it. She tells me what to do. She's really the boss even though I write the checks. Okay, so I'm like, I'm going to go get 20 Jessicas. You follow what I'm saying? I'm going to go build, like a lot of you are worried about debt. I remember in 2008, I owed $50 million to the bank. And I'm like, I told my wife, this will never happen to me again. The bank was pushing me around, like bullying me around like a punk. And I said, Elena, this will never, ever happen to us again. And she's like, what are you going to do to prevent it? I said, the next time this country goes upside down, I'm going to owe $1 billion in debt.
What's your main message on your heart right now to people in this time?
I would pay people. I would look at the things, just like I said about number 1, find out what and who you need to cut. Yeah. Same thing I would tell a household. What and who do you need to cut from your life? Is there some obligation you have that you don't need going forward? Cut it.
Yeah.
Financial. Is there people in your life that you could afford to have in January and you can't afford to have them anymore? You got to cut them. You got to boss up right now. You got to do the tough thing. If you want to take care of your tribe, your group, your family, you have to do leadership. It requires tough decisions, unpopular decisions.
A Meridian Bank in the United States hit me today and said, can you share our Instagram post? I said, yeah, you do. You know I can. Question is, will I? And you know, do you want to know how much it costs? Exactly. So they just gave me a loan for $93 million. They're paying attention to my social. I've raised $223 million in 20 months using Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
So
they should be sharing your posts.
Well, they are. They are sharing my posts. They want to go the other way, right? So you guys out there that are like, should you lean into social? Listen to what I'm telling you. One guy, without a big name, I'm not Merrill Lynch, raised $223 million in 20 months. I paid no fees. What I did pay was the right to be on Instagram. I paid a lot of energy building up an audience, giving content and delivering content to that audience. To a point to where people are like, hey, I like what you're saying right there. I want to give you some money for it. I want to fund your project. I want to be involved with you. I want to partner with you. I want to know more, right? Then I need a landing page. Boom, built a new business. So that came out of charity. By the way, Cardone Capital was created out of charity. I just wanted to educate people how to buy real estate. And then I realized how many people are like, dude, I want to invest in real estate. I don't want to go do it. Yeah. That's what most people realize. They don't want to do the work. So, man, social media has been like
everything, right?
It has been unbelievable that I could be known in Sydney and I haven't been here in 20 years. Like, that is the magic of social media.
There's a lot of 40 and 50 and 60-year-olds just getting into business, you know, their first round of entrepreneurship, getting beat up, and they're like, man, the younger guys, do I have the energy to compete, right? Can I keep up with them? So what would be your advice to somebody like that, maybe in their 40s, 50s, 60s, just getting started in entrepreneurship?
My best run has been the last 9 years.
Me too.
Not like I was 51. I mean, I have more energy now than I got a reason. I was talking about a friend me and Ed and I have in common. And I'm like, he's got a big advantage though. And he's like, what's that? I'm like, came from another country. We're in America. We've been here the whole time. There is an entitlement. I was born here, raised here. I don't know what goes on in other countries until I go there. So there's a drive from the immigrant that comes here, right? He's got that drive. My drive now is time. And how do I use it? Like Ed was talking about, how do I use my time? Who do I use it with, right? So where do I play my cards? I got a hand, how do I play it out?
Something that you've been saying a lot is never waste a good crisis or never waste a good recession. What do you mean by that?
Well, what happens in contractions like the one we're experiencing now, probably the most severe contraction, certainly in my lifetime, and maybe in the history, the last 100 years, possibly, right? Is everybody does what they do in a contraction. Not everybody, not everybody, but almost everyone goes into non-acceptance of the situation. They go to blame, conspiracy theories, denial. They get angry about it. They lose their job. They lose their position. They lose their targets. They become consumers more than ever before. And they lose track of, hey, where were you going? You know, and so if 7 billion people yesterday, let's say 7 billion people a month ago were on track, big dreams, big goals, like everybody wanted to expand a month ago. Everybody had big dreams, big goals. They're going to change the world. They're going to get their finances right. They're going for whatever they're trying to go for, whether it's a dream house, a vacation, more freedom. And then boom, this thing hits and they're like, oh, I just want to go back to the way it was. So immediately there's a contraction, a mental contraction.
Yeah.
And people give up. I was just having this conversation yesterday. I'm like, look, I've been thinking too small the whole time. I'm telling myself this with 2 key staff people. And I should be thinking bigger right now, not smaller. How do I expand out into this, not contract smaller into this? So the first thing that happens is when you have 26 million people in the United States were let go in the last 4 weeks. I read something today that says the UK housing sales will get cut by 50 to 70% this year.
Yeah.
When that happens, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just want to sell the 12 homes I sold last year now. If I could just hold on to those 12. No, you should be thinking about, how do I expand into this? Because if you're not asking the right questions, you will go in the direction of your journey. And if you're like, oh, I got to pull over right now, your journey wasn't to pull over. You were on a journey a month ago. You had dreams and goals. And so when a crisis comes, it's like a speed bump, a flat tire, you ran out of fuel. What do? Dude, you keep rolling, you fix the tire, you refuel, and you keep going. And so don't waste this moment, because we're going to pass. This is going to pass.
Elena, she has a very, very magical kind of like think. Okay, she's not stuck in mechanics, and this is something that everybody should try to understand. If you're running something, if you're going to do something big, you cannot get lost in mechanics. Mechanics is, how much does it weigh? How far does it have to be carried? Who's going to carry it? How long is it going to take? It's all that pickup, the weight, the heaviness of an activity. I'm a doer. I dig holes. Like you tell me what to do. I go to the gym. I work out every day. Like it's effort. So I'm an effort. I'm in that effort band, that push, the force.
In 2008, when 2008 happened, I had nothing to do with 2008. I had 2 businesses and I was starting to buy real estate. And I was not buying the real estate to cause the problem in this country. Any of you remember when Lehman collapsed, your business, if you were in business, your business probably got hurt. I wasn't doing the mortgage-backed securities. I wasn't doing the no money down houses. I wasn't selling that stuff. I wasn't doing mass development on the backs of the bank with bad loans. But because I lived in America and I was doing business at the time, I got greatly affected by that. My first 2 businesses got cut in half and my real estate was frozen up. I owed $52 million to a bank that went upside down. New bank came in. They started making demands on me. I ended up in a lawsuit. Aren't there a bunch of lawyers in here?
Yep.
I ended up in one of these crazy lawsuits where the guy was going under. He had done some things wrong, and he decided to pull me down with him. It was a frivolous lawsuit that was costing me $200,000 a month to fund. I had never been involved in a lawsuit in my career. So that being said, I looked at that situation and said, hey, what did I do wrong here? Like, I always look at how am I responsible, able to respond. That is the definition of responsible, able to respond. Now, in my case, I was being forced to respond. It wasn't a lot of able in it. But the one thing that I walked away with was I had a baby on the way. I'd just been married. I just got married maybe 3 years before that. So the marriage was very new. We were really still in the honeymoon phases of our marriage, not really understanding who we were as a team, my wife and I. New baby coming along. I lived in Los Angeles. I lived in a beautiful house up in the hills. Overlooking all of LA. And I pretty much thought my life was great until 2008 happened. Now I'm taking a second to get you to what I want you to hear. I didn't plan on 2008. I didn't think about a Lehman collapse. I didn't know 40 million people were going to go upside down in their homes. I did not know it would affect me. I didn't know one of my industries was the automobile dealers. I was working with automobile dealers around the United States. That was my primary business. I was making a couple $1,000,000 a year. I didn't know 9,000 car dealers would go out of business. Who would plan on any of that? Now, what's that got to do with today? Who in their business plan had COVID as part of your business plan?
Let us know in the chat. Put a no in the chat if you didn't have a plan for that.
Yeah. I need to see 316. I need to see one guy in here say, oh yeah, I planned on mask. Oh yeah, I had myself going out 1 week buying $400 worth of toilet paper. Okay. Oh yeah, in 2020. By the way, how many of you in 2020, January 1st, you were like, "This is going to be the best year of my life"?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everybody gave that up on March 23rd. The entire nation of America gave up. Surrender 2020. Look, the news, the media by April was saying 2020 is over. How many of you heard that? I'm throwing 2020 away. Fortune 500 companies, 100 companies, Carnival Cruise Lines, General Motors, Ford Motor Company, like mass companies were like, I'm done. I'm tapping out. This year's over. Wall Street, every day, I'm watching Bloomberg right now. Wall Street's like, hey, just throw away all the earnings for 2020. Let's reboot for 2021. The entire nation surrendered. Your kids aren't going to schools. You didn't plan on that, did you? See, this is the problem with the concept. I think I saw somewhere in your promo, go big or
go home.
What's the saying? Go big or
go home.
There ain't nothing at home, folks. There ain't nothing at your house. You're not going to make your business work at home, okay? Go big or go home or home. You need to scratch that out and say, look, I got to go big or I got to go bigger because going home cannot be a choice now. And the whole country went home. We've been quarantined. You're going to have 10 million, probably 8 to 10 million bankruptcies by the end of this year. The other shoe is not dropped yet. The stock market's going crazy. The rich are getting richer. And I don't include us on this call as the rich. The rich will get richer. Okay. Why? Because they think big. They think big. They never waste a crisis. And we are in a crisis. And the crisis, if you were in trouble before COVID, you are in more trouble today. And the reason we're in trouble is because people in this country are satisfied, complacent, comfortable. These are the enemy. So if you can take anything away from me, it's like, look, you and your wife, you and your husband, you and your kids must give up ideas of comfort.
I'm doing my life and I'm just figuring it out, right? I want to have fun more than anything. I want to have fun. Like everybody knows me about the money guy and I'm pushing for the money and the real estate fund and doing this and I did that. But at the end of the day, I want to have fun. I bought a jet because I want to have fun. I don't want somebody telling me to put on my damn seatbelt. When I know,
shoes in the terminal, yeah.
When I know a seatbelt cannot save me at 40,000 feet. If I'm gonna die in a plane, I want to be all over the plane, and I want to make sure it's mine.
Don't you like the one, turn your phone off? Somehow it's going to mess everybody's equipment up. Isn't that hilarious?
So I was the guy that got that reversed.
Oh yeah, you're the first guy ever to record the.
No, I'm the guy that got the reverse. I'm the one that fought the FAA to reverse, turn the bullshit phone off. And I'm like, no, you guys.
I didn't know that. I knew the bird strike.
Oh no, I'm the one that got that reversed, dude. Okay, so I want to have fun, man. And again, I'm going to go back to this topic. You can't have fun if you don't have money. Nobody's telling this story. Like, where are all the rich guys? I'm calling all the rich guys out right now. Come out, tell everybody it's no fun being broke. It's no fun getting by, and you have a blast picking up the check. And not worried about where you're going on vacation or how long you're going to stay or what it costs. It's fun.
Why is Donald Trump the president of the United States? Because he played around the edges of politics. Go back and watch the Republican. Watch him destroy those Republican old school politicians. Watch him destroy them because he's like, I'm playing by a new set of rules. You know, I don't like the hand. I don't like the way this game's played. I'm going to play a different game, and they won't know how to respond to it.
If Grant Cardone had to give us top 3 relationship tips off the top, what would they be?
The beings have to have a similar vibration. Okay, I know people say it likes and what is it? Likes opposite attracts. Yeah, well, I don't believe that. I think that's just a bunch of bullshit. I think people need to vibrate similarly. I can't go 500 miles an hour and expect to be with somebody that wants to go 80. Mm-hmm. They're going to be uncomfortable. They're going to be like, you need to slow down. I'm going to be like, you need to speed up, and we're going to have this thing. So you know, if one person's on the brake and the other person's on the accelerator, you're going to wear this freaking vehicle out. And that's what I see happening in a lot of relationships. And so the people have to figure out who's doing what, who's driving, where are we going, and admire that in each other.
Do you think from a marriage perspective or from a partner perspective where you've got this hunger to go and build a business? Because I speak from my own experience here in the sense of if I'm not in a good space with my wife or we might argue or something's not right, I couldn't give a fuck about building a big business, right?
I agree with that.
What advice do you have for entrepreneurs who are in relationships?
If my marriage was falling apart right now, I would still care about my business. Mm-hmm. Because my business is my dreams are so native to me. Meaning they're innate. They were with me before the kids and before her. Uh-huh. I'm not giving those up. Uh-huh. And that's all I told her when I got married to her. I said, look, I will give anything up, but I will not give those up. She's like, I don't want you to. I want to see if I can make them bigger. Uh-huh. I'm like, you're my girl. So that's what I want. Like, I don't want to give up, and I don't want her to give up on her dreams. Right, and then if the two dreams can come together, right,
it's utopia,
and then the marriage is going to be cool. There's going to be bumpy spots and working all that out, and who's doing what, and you said this, and we correct each other all the time, and I wish you wouldn't have said that, and whatever, you know, I got a big mouth, and but you know, I think the spiritual condition it should be first, and then that'll handle the marriage thing because. For me, my dreams are a spiritual condition. They're like the things I want to do, the things I've always dreamed of, the things that satisfy me and make me feel filled, like are of a spiritual nature. It's not really about money for me.
Keep taking care of yourself every day. You got to do the work. Some things you cannot delegate. Taking care of your body, food you eat, somebody can cook it for you, you still got to put it in. And then you got to take care of yourself. And then you got to take your ideas and your dreams. Only you know what they really are. And only you and you alone know what your real potential is. Your wife can't do that for you. Your husband can't.
Your boss can't, your manager can't. God's not gonna even do it for you, folks. You gotta do that. You wanna be in good shape? You can pray for it all you want. You wanna get your money right? You can pray for it, but you gotta do the work. Your destiny is waiting for you, but you gotta do the work.
How do you maintain a positive, opportunistic, upbeat attitude during times like this?
You know, I struggle with it just like everybody else. This is not an easy time. It's scary. Uncertainties everywhere. Bad news everywhere. The thing that I continue to do is, I was just telling Jared a few minutes ago, we're just thinking too small. Mm-hmm. You know, we're thinking too small. And so, like, I'm like, where am I going? Where am I trying to get to? Because I could be seduced into a beach right now pretty easily. Yeah, I'm going to go lay on the beach and I don't need to do all this, you know, and then I'm like, wait a minute, there's no beaches open either. Like there's the Caribbean shut down, the damn St. Bart's is shut down. There's everywhere you go, there's problems, right? So there's no getting away from that. Where am I going?
Yeah.
So the thing I need to wake up every morning, hey, I'm still going for $10 billion worth of real estate, maybe 20.
Yeah.
Why not 30? So how do I do that? Got to stay relevant. Got to keep paying my bills. Got to take care of my properties. Got to show people that I know how to get through tough shit. You can't expand if you fold every hand. You can't win if you fold every hand. So you got to play the cards you got right now. It's tough. But I have to keep making contacts with people that can actually benefit me in 21, 22, 23. Mm. I got to be a beacon of possibility and potential and future. So that when things start lifting off and we can do deals, I'm relevant to the conversation. Yeah. And I got to cross my fingers, dude, and just believe that. I got to believe that things are going to get better.
Success is a contact sport. You cannot be successful if you don't make contact. You guys interview people and then you never follow anybody up, man. Nobody follows anybody up. I spent $2 million with a lawyer that's never called me back. Same thing for the barber, same thing for the cosmetologist, same thing for the plumber, same thing for the roofer. Dude, you guys don't call people back because you think they're not interested. Do you think I'm only going to have one car accident? People that have one car accident end up in 3 of them. Okay? Divorcees, guy gets a divorce. Everybody here knows somebody's got 4 of them. Buck, he ends up with 4 different attorneys. Like, you guys don't follow up. You are a business, not a lawyer. The chiropractor has the same problem. He goes and spends all this money on equipment. He knows how to do an adjustment. He doesn't know how to build a business.
What's your biggest tip for anyone who, you know, they obviously have all intention, purposes to want to collaborate? What are some of the best ins or the best ways around
money,
of course,
pay
to play? Money works, yeah.
Pay to play.
Yep.
Universal language, planet Earth. Pay to play. You know, whatever people. I was doing before our last conference, and maybe we wrap it up with this. Before our last conference, a guy came in my office from a big bank and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about lending you some money for your apartment building." So I'm like, "Great. Have you bought a ticket to my conference?" "No, I haven't." I said, "I don't have time for you." So it's like pay to play, man. It is the simplest hack on planet Earth. Yep. I'm going to take garbage pieces of paper, dumb little pieces of rectangle paper, and give them to you to speed up my process. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't know this for 45 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I was so hung up on trading paper for access. It's what all the big players do. Yeah. I mean, I even had this arrogant thing. I'm not paying to connect up. Like, dude, this is how everything works on this planet.
Every city I've ever been to, when I work with CEOs, they say, number one problem here is the people. I said, then you need to get better. So to the degree that you're having problems with people, you got to get better, and it starts with you. And you're only going to hire the people, like we have people come to us. I'm turning resumes down. I'm like, I can't see enough people. Like, I got people that so many people want to work with us because we're successful, right? And if you want good people, get big.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to work at Facebook. Okay, the average person at Facebook makes $250, just under $250 a year. Which, by the way, if you do any kind of financial literacy, you would know that guy walks away with 60 grand. 250 in Silicon Valley converts to 60,000 bucks after all his expenses. He's broke. He might not have 60, by the way. So, you're going to have to go through a bunch of people. Recruiting should be the number one thing for every company out there, every entrepreneur. First thing you should look for is not a sale. That's what I did wrong. I was looking for a sale. I should have been looking for a recruit.
So focus more on team building than just sales.
Now, you need to recruit, and that means you need to pay people. Now we're back to that other ugly problem that nobody wants to talk about. I need some money. Everybody wants to be the boss. Nobody wants to pay the invoice.
You're trying to run a business the way you would your marriage. Problem is, people are going to quit. They're going to quit your business easier because they don't know there's no culture. And once you have those kids, it's hard to walk out on the marriage because you can't get rid of the kids. The moment they turn 15 or 18 and they leave, you're like, the marriage is over. Same thing in a business, man. The business falls apart every day. You got to train your people daily.
Part of the issue with salespeople is they don't take ownership of the business. I was having this conversation with a guy the other day. I'm like, he's 50, mid-50s. He's the guy that supposedly knows how to sell a pen. I'm not going to mention his name, but so he's a crook. He's a complete criminal. I'm like, dude, you got to quit. You got to elevate the game. All salespeople need to elevate the game and start thinking about managing a team, running a business, running a big business, not just selling a pen. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where there's no passion in me selling one condo or one house.
I picked the wrong careers. I picked the wrong careers like 3 times now. Okay? And they made me money. And then I got trapped in them. Okay? So I made it picking the wrong careers. Me and him talk about a business that I'm in. I'm like, Ed, there's nothing there. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just full of illusions. Mm-hmm. Told you that 20 times now. Yeah. Full of illusions. There's nothing there. Okay? And my first business, second business, third business, man, they were all just, there's nothing there. And I pushed so hard in them. I overworked all my spaces. So that's a big mistake. I've underestimated how much energy it takes, and I've also underestimated, because I underestimated what it would take to do it, I overworked the space. I literally overworked all my spaces. I was telling Ryan this today. I constantly overwork because I trust nothing. Mm. I don't trust any effort. Like, I think everything will not work. And so I'm like, okay, add one more, add a second one, add a third one. And the next thing I do is I make a mess. Like, I make constant messes everywhere I go. So, constant, there's messes everywhere I go. Somebody's having to pick up. But hey, next thing you know, we figured it out, right? And now, all that being said, it's also been easier than I ever imagined. I never thought I would get where I'm at. I underestimated, like, I am so far beyond anything I ever dreamed of. Like, I heard Barbra Streisand say this, that she had dreamed everything that happened in her career, she dreamed it before. I dreamed none of this. Never in my lifetime.
Me either.
Did I think I'd fly on a private jet, of anybody's private jet.
What do we got there? Tell us a bit more about the book that you've brought with you.
Oh, the 10X Rule, man.
Absolutely.
This is the book that everybody knows about.
Where did that come from? 10X? 10 times?
This was after the collapse. Right. I was working hard, and I kept telling Elena, what am I doing wrong? I think a lot of people have this conversation, like, what am I doing wrong? I'm working hard. Take care of my customers. Mm-hmm. I'm fair to everybody, and I can't get ahead. Why can't I get my break? I'm a talented guy. Mm-hmm. I'm working hard. I'm talented. I'm working hard. I'm talented. Like, it was like this. Like, and I can't punch through. And then I saw a lot of people that were less talented, not taking care of their customers, didn't have as good a product, that were just flying. And so I sat down. Every book I've ever written, except for one, was about me trying to solve a problem for me. And the 10X Rule, I didn't know it was going to be the 10X Rule when I finished it, until I finished it. It was about, hey, why am I working so hard and not getting ahead? And the premise of this book is my multiplier was broken. I wasn't multiplying, I was adding. I was doing a little bit more. I was never doing a lot more. I was never doing enough more to expand so that I wasn't a slave to my business. I worked at McDonald's, I got fired. I worked at a furniture store, I got fired. I worked in a car dealership, I was fired 6 times from the same guy. I just quit leaving. And I've been fired so many times, I finally figured out how to get fired and keep my job. I mean, really. So
talent.
I'm a sales guy not because I wanted to. That was not something I wanted to do. My dad was a sales guy. My dad told my mom before he died, tell those boys to learn how to sell. He knew he was going to die. And he's like, tell those boys to learn how to sell and they can go anywhere. I didn't know that. My mom didn't tell me that until I was like 25, 26 years old. And I had to take a sales job. She wanted me to be a professional. So I went and got an accounting degree, got out of college. There was 25% unemployment. I didn't know it. I didn't know anything about sales. I didn't go to college to become a salesman. But it was the only job I could get when I was 25 years old. It was be unemployed or take this job selling Toyotas. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know what a Toyota was. This is years ago. Toyota wasn't even a thing yet. And so I took this job that I thought it was just going to be a temporary job. I said, okay, I'm going to do this until I can get a real job. And that ended up becoming my career. I actually hated sales, because all the jobs I had outside of McDonald's were part-time sales jobs. I sold clothes. I remember selling clothes. I'd sell an outfit and I'd make $6 on it. So kind of hard to get excited about $6, but it was $6 more than I had. And I was trying to put myself through college and pay for all kind of ridiculous things I was doing at the time. And I leaned into the sales thing and started learning it. I was just shooting some material today for Cardone University. We have probably, without me over promoting my own product, we probably have the most viewed sales training system in the world today. And I'm saying that not to brag, but to tell the viewer, this came out of a job I didn't want and didn't like. But when I leaned into it and said, hey, I need to commit to this thing because I have to learn how to do this. I have to learn how to bring revenue in. And whether I liked it or not, I needed to learn the money game. The money game starts with in accounting. And it might have been the thing I learned in accounting as I sit here and tell you this story, because in accounting, I remember studying financial statements in accounting classes. It was accounting, the principles of accounting. I thought I was going to learn how to make money. That's not what they're teaching there. But I remember there was on a page in the accounting book, the blue accounting book that I detested and hated. There was a page about an income statement. And then they would compare income statements of these companies. Well, the top thing of every page was income, revenue, or gross sales. And later, looking back, didn't know it then, but looking back later, I'm like, oh, that's the most important part of a company. If it wasn't the most important part of a company, they wouldn't put it at the top of the income statement.
Yeah, that's true.
On every income statement everywhere in the world, it doesn't matter whether you're in China or Chicago. The top 3 lines, they might be different words there. It is all describing gross sales, revenue by department, gross domestic product, how much revenue is coming through a country. That is what determines whether or not a household, a department, or a company is viable. And I had been fighting the top 3 lines of my personal financial statement, which everybody has one. And it's called sales. So once I leaned into it, boom, I started making money, man. It was literally that simple. I'm going to learn how to bring revenue into my household. I was 25 years old, had no money, lived in an apartment. My rent was $275 a month. I was late on it 4 times a year. Every 3 months I was late because I'd go up and down. And when I leaned into it, all of a sudden, I made an extra $1,000 when I was 25 years old. I'm like, wow, that was the most important money I've ever made in my whole life, because it gave me an idea that I could control my income.
When you kind of look back now, what would you say are the traits that when you do look back, that you needed to kind of turn your life around?
You need to know. You need to be honest with yourself, right? Like I am brutally honest with
and maybe why the people in the UK like me. Like, I just tell the truth to myself, okay? And the fact that whether other people can handle it or not, it's up to them. Money's important. If you're broke, you're selfish. If you're broken, you're even more selfish. Anybody can make it, no matter what your troubles are, what side of town or city, the city you were born in, what class you were born into. If you want out, and you're not going to make excuses about how to get out, you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Like today, I have $2 billion worth of real estate today. One deal at a time, putting one deal, like that is an amazing feat for anyone, but for someone that came from where I'm at, no credit when I was 25. Nobody's taught me really how to do any of this stuff. But once you make a decision, you got to make the decision. You got to make a decision not to be comfortable. You got to make a decision and say, look, I want to have so much that I can take care of not just myself and my family, my 2 kids and my wife. I can take care of communities. And that's what I've always wanted. I always wanted to be a hero, dude. I'd watch Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. You know, I read those cartoon books and I'm like, I want to be the hero. And I think it's important that people understand they can be the hero.
When you're running a business, let's say you got a business that's doing $300,000 or $400,000 a year. I've done that. And then I'm like, okay, all my problems are around $300,000 and the 2 employees and the few customers I have. And so I'm like, okay, this year my new plan is going to be, I'm going to go from 300 to 400,000. The problem with that thinking is when you're adding 100, you're stuck with all the same barriers, and you're thinking that if you went from 300,000 to 3 million, all of a sudden you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I got different questions I got to ask. Where am I going to get my manufacturing? Where am I going to store my supplies? Who's going to do all this work? All of a sudden everything shifted. When you're going from 300, 400, you're like, oh, you got Sherry works for me and she's no good at this, so I'm going to have to replace her. My solutions are small. But when you start thinking, okay, I'm doing 30 million, because you'll just keep doing this until you get to 30 million. Now I want to go to 300 million. Imagine the difference. Oh, I need global offices. I got to go to Dubai and make some connections. Oh, I need a plane to go there. Like, you're seeing me just run out this 10X rule right now. Mm-hmm. Like, if people were just tracking what we've been doing, you're going to see us go from 3 million to 6 million, 6 to 10, 10 to 50. Like, we've been doing that. Mm-hmm. And look at all the things that have been added in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years that we weren't doing.
Unfortunately, because we have so much attention on our physical capacity and limitations, 5'8", you know, I've been a little guy my whole life, got to feed myself 3 times a day because I'm hungry. I got to urinate, you know, sometimes with my buddy. I got to sleep 9 hours a day, 8 to 9 hours a day. I'm reminded I'm a body, which has been a deception for me, because that's not what I'm not limited to just that. And so it's been a big trick, thinking, oh, I just got to take care of this. I got to clothe it. I got to protect it. I got to worry about it. The older you get, the more you worry about it. Kids can do almost anything. You know, kids can jump off they can jump out of a car, roll around on the damn grass and pop up and say, yeah, that was fun, let's do that again. You do that to me, man? I'm like, dang, that hurt, right? So you can see a kid flying down a mountain at 70 miles an hour, man, I'm terrified because I'm gonna break something. So it's that concern about me is like, is something gonna happen to me? If I wouldn't have been concerned about myself, my God, I could have done anything, man. I would have already done it. So that's how that's been a big limitation, what Ed's talking about. The capacity of the individual is, I don't think I've even like remotely scratched. Hopefully if I can come back, if anybody believes in that kind of stuff, like, then I can come back with, oh my God, man, maybe I'm not just 5'8", 170 pounds, you know, little tiny ones.
Got some good guns right now.
Okay, but maybe I can do more than just the physical limitations that I impose on myself. I know great salespeople have the potential to be really, really world changers. But their goals are so small. They settle. You know, I spoke at your event. I was really just talking to the front row.
He was. You were talking to the most successful people.
I was like, hey, I just want to talk to the most successful people in the room. Yep. You guys quit. You settled out, you stopped.
I've created a fund called Cardone Capital, and it's changing the way people can invest in real estate. So when I was growing up, and even in my early real estate career, I could not buy the best assets. The best properties are left for institutions and banks, and it's super, super wealthy. I'm talking about the kind of wealth you're familiar with and read about here. And I'm not talking about people that have hundreds of millions, but billions and hundreds of billions and even trillions of dollars of available money to them. And so most even real estate professionals get the leftovers, everything after that. And so I've been playing the real estate game for 30 years. And in the last 7 years, figured out, okay, I'm going to start buying what JP Morgan buys and Blackstone. And I'm going to use my audience on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm not going to go get my money from the institutions. I'm going to get the deal from the institution. And the money is going to come from my friends. And we're going to crowdsource this money without paying brokers. The brokers never like to hear me say this. But we've raised $300 million, bought $1 billion worth of real estate in the last 30 months. I paid not one penny to a broker.
Wow.
So that means all that investor dollars ends up in the investment, saving the investor money. And then we distribute cash distributions every single month, not every quarter. Like the banks distribute every quarter, or a REIT will distribute every quarter.
It's funny, people talk about the power of social media and they diss it a lot. But then last week, Kylie Jenner, $600 million, 51% stake in her business. You have raised $300 million through crowdfunding.
Because a lot of people are wasting time on social media. They're getting likes and comments. I know there's a guy flying into town tomorrow, and he's big on free and don't monetize, and he's looking at his likes and comments. And I don't look at likes and comments. I look at, hey, I have an offer. This is what you could do. It's a great deal for you. It's a great deal for me. It's a great deal for everybody that plays. And we want to monetize. So I think I'm going to raise $3 billion. I'm going to create a $10 billion fund, crowdfunding. And then the banks are going to come to me and say, we want to buy that thing.
Handle your 24 inches. You can't handle your 24 inches. Don't try to handle your neighbor's problems. Don't criticize me, criticize yourself. Like, so many people want to give me advice. I'm like, dude, you handle your own life. I got my hands full handling mine. I'm not handling yours. Just handle your 24 inches until you got that handled. Then, could be anything. Could be money, it could be weight, it could be maybe you're cheating, maybe you're taking shortcuts, you don't wake up sooner, whatever your problems are. Everybody's got them. I still got my 24 inches. I worry about my 24 inches every day.
You had a kind of a tough start in life. There was kind of drugs, there was job losses, a lot of kind of things happened to you. What was that trigger that made you say enough was enough? I want to turn this around.
Yeah, well, there was, I just hated my life, man. I hated my life. I hated that I was a disappointment to myself, my family, my community. I knew it. They knew it. I look at myself in the mirror. I was praying, meditating, begging, and I just kept making the wrong moves. So at some point, when you try and you don't quit enough times, sooner or later it's going to click.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you watch a video and you just get motivated, the sign says you have a 35% chance of actually following through. That's not good enough, Believe Nation. We got to take action. But when you get motivated and then you create a specific plan of action for when and how you're going to do it, your number jumps from 35% to 91% chance of following through. And when you commit to somebody else, like posting down here in the comments below, that number jumps to 95%. I want to know your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down in the comments below so you can follow through and I can celebrate you.
You need to build something big enough also that has rings on it so that people can play in other spaces. So what I mean by that is, like, when a guy gets into in the inner ring, let's say, the outer rings are even more enticing. Okay, so that's the problem with the solopreneur. They got their one little gig, it makes whatever, right? 200, 400, $1 million. somebody gets really good. I recruit an Ed Milet, and he gets really good. He's like, there's no place for me here.
Right.
And he bounces out and starts his own deal.
Yep.
This is a recurring problem. I'm bringing people in, and they bounce out and go do their own deal. Now they're competition. You know why? It's not because he's a thief. It's because there wasn't a second ring and a third ring and a fourth ring. So I have rings now. Ryan Secco, he comes in as a phone guy. Bang, then he's the pilot. Now he's in the real estate. The guy's gone in 3 years from working $125,000 a year job to deals that are $125 million. Like, he's next to me on phone calls where I'm negotiating $160 million worth of debt on one deal. Like, we're playing with big boys now. He did all that because he didn't chase a career or a job or a salary. He looked for an opportunity, and he looked for how big can that opportunity get. And I think this is a problem that people that go to Facebook, they're making a mistake. They should be looking for entrepreneurs that want to accelerate and build massive opportunities for other people that can keep doing this.
If you want 50 more rules from Grant Cardone, you'll love the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
How many of you looked at your finances this morning? Be honest. How many of you looked at every account you had this morning? Let me see hands. 3 or 4 or 5 people. I look at my finances every day. Every morning I look at my finances.